My first question to you is that there is a controversy raging these days about the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library's acreage. I believe that the BJP government wants to build a museum of prime ministers on the Teen Murti estate.
Well, let me first of all give you a little background about the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library. Panditji passed away in 1964.
That's right.
Immediately thereafter, Lal Bahadur Shastri flatly refused to move into that house. So Indira ji, we were all involved. And then it was decided to make this into a memorial to Jawaharlal Nehru. It's difficult for your generation to realize the sort of impact that Jawaharlal Nehru had on the nation. From the very beginning of our republic, his impact was profound. And so when he went after 17 years, there was immediately a state of, people were shocked and sort of worried.
So do you think the BJP is trying to dilute that impact?
Of course, that's what I'm coming to. This institution has, over the last 50 years, become an institution not only of national but of international importance. It is known around the world. It is considered to be the greatest repository of material on the Indian freedom movement and the immediate post-freedom situation in the world.
And this includes ideologues from the RSS?
Yes, of course, it includes people, there is Savarkar and anybody, even Shyama Prasad Mukherjee and everybody. It is all, lots of papers are there for dozens of people, very distinguished people.
But isn't that interesting that the Nehru Memorial Museum has the papers of RSS ideologues?
Yes, why not? Like because it is not only a Nehru thing. Nehru was a representative of the liberal democratic situation that emerged after we became free. And so his memorial is not only related to him but to the whole movement.
I see.
He was part of a whole movement.
Right.
He was an outstanding figure like Gandhiji was. After this new government came into power, we noticed a very clear and distinct effort to dilute and denigrate Jawaharlal Nehru's role, which I think is very unfortunate.
In what way?
Because he was not being mentioned. The Prime Minister mentioned everybody in his speeches, hardly ever touched upon Jawaharlal Nehru. He'd go to Mahatma Gandhi, Sardar Patel, Ambedkar, cutting off. He's being removed from many textbooks.
Why do you think this is happening?
Well, that's what I cannot really understand. Why there should be an animus against a man like Jawaharlal Nehru. I do not know. I'm sorry. I think it's petty to do that.
But you seem to have a reasonably good relationship with the BJP, with the Prime Minister himself. You've met him several times. Have you asked him about
Well, no, I haven't discussed this with him directly, but we meet. Rajnath Singh was chairing these committee meetings. So then, that was there, we saw that, and then suddenly rumours began that what they were wanting to do was to convert this Teen Murti building into a museum for all Prime Ministers. That's when we really began to get worried. We said, look, you can't do that.
Who's we?
The people who are in the Nehru Memorial Museum Library, people who admire Jawaharlal Nehru.
Does this include Sonia Gandhi?
Of course.
And Rahul?
Of course, naturally. I mean, they are the direct descendants. And it includes thousands and lakhs of other people who have a liberal, inclusive spirit and philosophy. So then we began getting worried, and then all sorts of stories started coming out in the papers. So at the last year's meeting, we were told that there is a plan to make a new museum for all Prime Ministers, and a concept note would be circulated.
Okay.
Well, some kind of a concept note came which was very wishy-washy.
This was about a year ago?
A year ago.
Okay.
Then the year later, when we had our meeting.
This was a few days ago?
Days ago, just I think a fortnight ago.
Right.
And there we discovered that far from getting our views on the concept note and all, they had already set up a special purpose vehicle, SPV committee, to mentor this project. They had put aside 268 crores in the budget, and they were going ahead. So,
and there is an international competition to build.
They are going to have an international competition to build. That is, they say they have. Some people, of course, were opposed. They said it's a bad idea. How can you make prime ministers will keep on growing and growing? It will have to do and so on.
Right.
So we have two things. First of all, under no circumstances should the present museum be in any way distorted or diluted.
So this is the memorial right now?
This is the memorial that is there today.
Sure.
And that, in fact, there's an upgradation project.
Yes.
Which Alka Lamba who's an interior, you may know her. She was doing, we had appointed her, she's continuing. They're going to do an upgradation of that. That's one thing that needs to be done in any case.
Okay.
Secondly, we said if you do have to build another building, please build it as far back as possible so that it doesn't clash with the architecture of this heritage building.
So it will. So you've agreed that the new museum will be on Teen Murti Estate?
We can't say no.
Because
it doesn't belong to us. That goes to the government.
Okay.
We may not like the idea, many people don't like the idea, but if they want to do it, we don't have any proprietary claim over that.
Okay.
So if they set up a separate society, and if they make one which is archaeologically and architecturally well, and they upgrade the Nehru Memorial, okay. That's where we stand.
All right. So you're okay in principle with the idea of a museum of prime ministers? Where there is no Nehru.
Although there's a lot of, Nehru will be there too. Nehru is already there.
No, Nehru is in the current memorial. So
yes,
in the new
there's an Indira Gandhi memorial, in her house is already there. The Lal Bahadur Shastri memorial in his house. There are already.
So what happens to those memorials? Will they be shifted? Will they be shifted?
I have no idea. It's for government.
So if they are shifted, because there is some thinking that the memorials to Indira Gandhi, to Lal Bahadur Shastri, will be shifted.
Well, I don't know whether they can legally shift them or not. After all, they don't. I don't know.
It's up to the Ministry of Urban Development.
It's up to the Ministry of Urban Development. It's up to the people who are there to see whether they want to accept being shifted or whether they want to fight it in some way, legally or otherwise. Legally.
But politically, do you think that they should be shifted? Should the Indira Gandhi Memorial be shifted from Safdarjung Road and Akbar Road?
So.
Why not?
Because it's already a perfectly good museum where she lived, where she was killed, where she was shot. It's all there. Why should they duplicate?
So Sonia Gandhi heads the Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund, and you're the vice chairman of the fund. Now,
and Subhan Dubey is the secretary.
Okay. Now, if the Urban Development Ministry, under which all these, land comes, if the Urban Development Ministry says that you must relocate, there is a letter that seems to be. It hasn't come to you yet.
We have no letter yet. And in fact, I raised this point additionally in the meeting, where I pointed out the importance of the fund and said it would be very unfair and unfortunate if you try and disturb us.
So you have heard that there may be a move to...
We have heard about that, but we haven't got anything in writing yet.
And what was your reaction when you heard this speculation or this?
Naturally, we were upset. After all, we've been there for half a century, we've been working. We are doing the selected works of Jawaharlal Nehru. That is being financed through the library museum.
I'm sure that's coming to an end.
79 volumes already there. There's lots of other work that we are doing. So we feel it will be very unfair if we suddenly ask to go. Whether what we do actually when we get the letter, we'll see.
So this pattern that you're talking about,
very clear,
of denigrating.
आपको नहीं लगता?
नहीं, आप बताएं।
स्पष्ट कह ही दिया।
जी, लेकिन किस तरीके से आपको लगता है? एक तो आपको लगता है
स्पष्ट लग रहा है जवाहरलाल जी का नाम कभी प्रधानमंत्री जी लेते नहीं हैं, कोई इनका मंत्री कभी जवाहरलाल जी का नाम ही नहीं लेता, एज इफ ही डिडंट एग्जिस्ट, जो पहले 17 वर्ष के लिए हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री थे। आप ही अपने माइंड में इमेजिन करो, अगर नरेंद्र मोदी 17 वर्ष रहे प्राइम मिनिस्टर तो उसका कितना प्रभाव पड़ेगा। अब इब्राहिम लिंकन को विल द अमेरिकन से कि वो पुराने हो गए, ख़त्म हो गए।
नहीं, खत्म।
जेफरसन को करते हैं, दे गॉट अ मेमोरियल फॉर जेफरसन।
कोई खत्म नहीं।
इसलिए अब क्या जरूरत है जी, पुरानी बात होगी।
नहीं, खत्म कोई नहीं कर रहा है नेहरू मेमोरियल।
खत्म करनी,
लेगेसी को कोई खत्म
करने की कोशिश हो रही है। दुख की बात ये है क्या जवाहरलाल नेहरू मेरे व्यक्तिगत तो मेरे गुरु थे, माई मेंटर एंड सो आई हैव दिस, बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट एक ऐसे व्यक्ति को जिन्होंने इतना देश के लिए बलिदान किया और इतना देश को उस समय आर्मी हैड टू बी partitioned, the civil service had to be partitioned, everything, वही मैं कह रहा हूँ, it's difficult for you to realize उस समय क्या हालत, और हर एक चीज़ में छाप, जितने आज ये आपके ये रॉकेट्स चल रहे हैं, सारी टेक्निकल चीज़ें उन्होंने शुरू की इत्यादि, तो ऐसे आदमी को why should they have an animus against him?
Dr. Karan Singh, thank you so much for talking to The Print.